Right, thank you very much. So I'm going to talk about workforce enablement. So let's look at where my slides have changed, right, Shahan? We are in the.
Yes, they are.
OK, fine. So if you look at the 4 pillars, so there's the last pillar is digitized organization. So under digitized organization, there are 2 main elements of it. So one is the workforce enablement, and then the other is connected partner ecosystem. So my topic would be predominantly to cover workforce enablement. So let's look at the what and why of workforce enablement. So what we expect organizations who are applying for the awards to actually, the mechanism that we have built is pushing these organizations to really get out of their comfort zones and not being complacent in terms of their current status of affairs, and also drive digital, right? So why do as FITIS, why do we want organizations to drive digitization within these organizations is actually to build more capabilities, right? So end of the day, why we do all these, why we have all these initiatives is to encourage organizations to increase or grow their capabilities, right? So capabilities can be improved in 2 different ways. One is like you can grow them incrementally, or you can look at growing them exponentially. So the focus here at FITIS Digital Excellence Awards is to recognize organizations and also guide organizations who may have not embarked on this journey to move fast and convert themselves to exponential organizations through the adoption of digital. And the topic I'm going to cover today is purely targeting the core of that, which is the workforce enablement. Shahan, sorry, I'm just double checking my slides are moving, right?
Yes.
OK, fine. So if you look at, there are 4 pillars. The last one, we talk about digitized organization, where we talk about a digital workforce and also the connected ecosystem. So let me explain about digital workforce and enablement. So if you look at the today's workforce or the future workforce, right, it's going to change. And organizations always need to keep in mind that what got us here will not get us there. So the context is that we may not be able to apply some of the thinking, some of the tools or the techniques that we apply to solve yesterday's problems to solve today's problems or the problems coming in the future. So as Dr. Dhanusha also mentioned, that bringing in agility is very important, and agility is also directly linked with the organization and also the enablement of the workforce. Why we want to enable the workforce is to enable them and also make them participate in the transformation process, because the future workforce is not only going to be human, it's going to be a human digital collaboration, or we call it human bot collaboration. So you would have hybrid workforces working in organizations hand in hand. So that is what is covered under the workforce element. And then we have connected partner ecosystems, where firms would, instead of trying to create all points of the value chain, firms would look at ways of collaborating and connecting to create value in a connected fashion or in a collaborative fashion, where they will be able to bring in onboard capabilities faster than, without trying to reinvent the whole wheel. So let's look at what workforce enablement is. Workforce enablement is actually, it's an organization-wide, it has to be organization-wide, it has to be comprehensive and inclusive for digital transformation to take place. Why we say it's inclusive, it has to cover the digital aspect of things and also human aspect of things, because whatever the transformation that we go through is actually needs to be supported by humans, because if you take any organization, it's the human is at the core of the organization. So their buying in is very important, and their participation is very important. So any type of workforce enablement needs to be more inclusive and also comprehensive. And also we need organizations to have conscious formulation of strategy and execution plans for workforce enablement. It's not just saying, fine, we're gonna say adopt digital tech, something similar, say robotics, process automation, or straight through processing or other tech. But another day, it's not just onboarding tech, because tech will onboard functionality. But what we need for organizations is not just functionality. We need organizations to have capabilities. So functionality will support capabilities, and in a way that you need to have inclusive or like consciously formulate strategies in achieving this. So that's one of the areas that we would encourage all the participating organizations to have. And then workforce enablement, if you really look at carefully, actually has two elements to it. So we need to be very careful of this. We are not talking only about digital workforce. We are talking about digitally enabled upskilling and reskilling of human workforce has to be part of the strategy, has to be part of the plan, right? And also introduction of digital workforce is also mandatory. So say, for example, if an organization is applying under this category, say we have enabled workforce for digital transformation. It's not about using tools only to enable humans, but an organization also need to demonstrate that they're using digital workforce as well within the organization to execute some of the repetitive mundane tasks. So it's not just digital, it's a human and digital combination. And also something very important, any participating organization in the awards need to have a defined and also a well communicated set of principles around workforce enablement, because it's very important. For example, organization adopt certain principles like if someone gets redundant, an existing employee gets redundant due to automation, we are not going to kick them out of the organization. We are going to reskill them or upskill them or move them to cognitive, related tasks. So those are set of principles that you need to define at a program level when it comes to organization-wide digital transformation, because without that, you will not create a safe environment for humans to participate and to be creative in the transformation process. And also purposeful encouragement of human and digital collaboration would help organization to fast track digital transformation. So we need to, you need to demonstrate that you are actually consciously picking and having this conversation of human digital collaboration. I hope we are giving you more clarity, but you have access to all this content to take it to the next level. So we've actually built a maturity model. So the maturity model actually covers 4 stages. So if you really look at the x-axis, talking about doing execution, starting with that and moving towards thinking, which is more cognitive. And also if you look at the y-axis where the growth is happening, say for example, we're looking at workforce capability. The whole intention is digital infused workforce capability maturity through this award under this category. So you would find organizations falling under initiate level, meaning they have thought of strategies, they have plans, and they have started, actioning these plans, showing progress. So that's the initial level that an organization will fall into. We'll have criteria defined. And then when you go to that, when you move on further, you would move into adopting stage where you start looking at, now you have the strategy, you have the roadmap, you have the tech. Now it's more of like, what organization-wide processes or capabilities that we are going to improve by adopting these people, process, and technology, right, to drive capability. And then you go to the next level which is leverage. So at leverage stage, what happens is you're looking at encouraging organizations to leverage existing resources, existing assets, for example, data assets. So at this point in time, at this stage, at leverage stage, we need to have organizations demonstrating the use of tech such as machine learning, say artificial intelligence, to be very specific, at least statistical models being used for prescriptive and predictive, or machine learning models being used for prescriptive and predictive kind of cognitive capabilities, and also automation is being used to action them. So that is a kind of a more matured level. And then the last stage that we we have defined is Thrive. So Thrive is where you have the tech, you have the people, you have the processes, and combining all these three together with innovation fueling this, that you have higher organization-wide capability. For example, how much time you consume to create a new product or a service in your organization with the use of with the use of human as well as digital tech. So that's the level that we want. Actually, if you look at all Sri Lankan organizations to move that particular position, if you see when you move up, you will be able to create higher value with lesser inputs, because if you really look at the inputs that we have as a small country, we have challenges in terms of finding human resources and other resources. So resources are scarce. So what you need to do is you need to create maximum out of what you already have. So you need to drive capability maturity in your organization. I hope it's clear up to now. So the scoring elements we looked at, I have a few more slides. We're looking at vision and enablers. So any organization participating under this category need to have a defined vision and principles for digital workforce and digital enabled workforce, that is humans. Define organizational goals to drive workforce enablement for digital transformation. You need to have the what and the whys defined clearly, because that will have buying in, that will have sponsorships coming in. It won't be another project run by one department or tech. And also in the process, define stakeholders, support and facilitation mechanisms also to be understood and also published within the organization for sustainability. Otherwise, these initiatives will not last long. And also define and communicate upskilling, reskilling plans for employees at all levels who are affected due to transformation, because this is the only way of assuring and enabling creativity among the participants within your organization. And then we move into tools and processes. There's some point in time you need to adopt, say adaptation of defined processes for process and task evaluation, selection of automation and evidence of maintenance capability, automation backlog. So you need to consciously understand what capabilities I lack in my organization and what capabilities we are going to enable through digitalization. So that kind of backlog you need to have, which actually is being evaluated continuously by business stakeholders, and you continue to create those or enable those capabilities through infusion of digital. At the end of the day, you need to create value. And also availability of a defined roadmap, which includes the what and why and the how of workforce enablement. This also need to cover what are your plans in terms of reskilling and upskilling. I'm reiterating it because it's really important. And also evaluated and adopted platforms and tools and technologies and best practice methods. We expect organizations to consume best practice methodologies and also better tools, because we're not talking about reinventing the whole wheel. Because if you want to convert your organization to an exponential organization, it cannot take 10 years. It has to happen within a shorter time frame. So meaning you have less time to think of building your own tools probably, but leverage and grow. Evidence of continuous improvement activities in automated processes to eliminate interruptions due to exceptions. So that is also important. We need to have evidence that you have a continuous improvement mechanism built into your capability improvement program. Identification and participation of business sponsors for respect to digital workforce projects from relevant business units is also a key, because it cannot be a technology-driven engagement. So these are the things that I want to share. So we also have defined, you'll have access to these criterion in our website. So what we have done is we have created 4 stages. We have merit, bronze, silver, and gold. So what we are doing is we are pushing Sri Lankan organizations to move up in the value chain, right? Have more mature capability as you move along the way. And so that's it. And we would have more sessions and more engagements coming in. If you have any areas that you need, if you have any areas you need clarity, you can actually throw the questions at us. And I would like to pass the presentation to Irfan, who will be taking you through the connected partner ecosystem. Thank you.